You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Derby coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. This is Be My Guest, and my very special guest is Mr. Metry Seaga, the president of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica. Now, we're taking a look at the manifestos of the two major parties. Of course, we probably have to continue for some time because there are quite a number of areas to be covered. And we're talking about the parties wanting to increase the income tax threshold, which many of us like and probably feel that we should pay according to what we consume, not according to what we earn. But then the question is, can the economy afford that at this point in time? Mr. Seaga, you're looking at, I think, productivity, the ability of the country to go that route. How quickly should we go that route? So let's take a look at that, though. Is it possible? Is it just election gimmickry?
So listen, we expect that the parties to throw out some things at the last minute and try to woo voters. That's understandable. We accept that. What is important is that us as the civil society and good citizens of our country, that we hold whoever wins to the promises that they made. So that's going to be our responsibility moving forward from here.
Mm-hmm. But you mentioned, we talked about expanding the pie. Help us to understand. So I think if people understand that, because even when we ask for increase in wages, I think many of us don't understand, and that if you give more wages and you don't have increased productivity and the production, then in another year or two, with inflation, it will come across as if it didn't get any increase at all.
Well, not only that, most businesses who keep giving salary increases without the requisite increase in productivity are going to end up going out of business. And that is one of the reasons why
I don't think I heard that, so repeat, as I said, repeat it again. What you said?
Companies or households that continue to give salary increases without increases in productivity or increases in prices, which make us uncompetitive, are going to end up out of business.
Wow. And when they're out of business, you're going to lose your job.
That's correct. You're going to lose your job, and then you're going to have to go to another place who if they do the same thing, they too will lose their job. So listen, it's a very delicate balance. But what is important is the size of our economy. So when we want to sell sweetie, if we are selling sweeties that we manufacture here to 3 million people in Jamaica, we are selling sweeties to those 3 million people. However, if we are exporting and we are selling to 300 million people, we can sell more sweeties, we can sell them for a higher price, and we can make more money, and we can keep that money here, we can pay better wages, we can do all the things that we need to do to make our economy grow in size.
So what is it that is holding us back in terms of expanding international trade? I think you mentioned bureaucracy, but I'm sure there's bureaucracy, but there are other matters that are holding us back.
There are other matters. The price of electricity is one that we have spoken about for a long time, and we're looking closely at it. So electricity, the bureaucracy that exists, our basic, the fact that we don't have enough workers in Jamaica. We simply do not have workers to fill the posts that we have.
I don't believe you, Mr. I don't believe you at all.
Absolutely, Mr.
You have to be specific. Tell me about that, because I'm sure many persons listening to you. So what kind of rubbish is Mr. Metry Seaga saying? We don't have enough workers, or people are out of work? Tell me, Mark, I know that unemployment is down to 3%. But what is the specific challenge, sir?
The specific challenge is that we simply don't have people that are ready for the workforce, that want to work, that are ready for the workforce and can do even the simplest of jobs. And yes, absolutely. And 80% of our graduates are migrating.
Wow.
So people at that cohort are not around to take the jobs and to help to grow our economy.
As you mentioned go ahead.
So we need to start looking at the possibility of when is needed to import some labor that can help to train people here, transfer the knowledge, that people can get higher paying jobs.
You said something a while ago, which let me start to think about another matter. You might have the labor then, but in terms of the skill set and how they have adjusted to the workplace. Like I go to a workplace and I'm asking a question, and the staff member is right there on her cell phone, and I have to wait. And I remember one telling me, "You don't say I'm on the phone."
Yeah.
So how do you? So you have another problem, not just getting people, but getting the caliber persons who are willing to work. I went to a store in Washington, a supermarket on the Washington Boulevard, and I was having a problem with my card, loyalty card. I went to him and said, "There's a problem with the loyalty card. Can you check on it for me?" He said to me, "I must be specific." I said, "All I can do when I go to the cashier, there's a problem." And he's supposed to be the manager. He said to me, "If you can't be specific, I can't help you." And he didn't even take the card and even say, "Let it go and check." It is a staff member who was passing, I heard the discussion and who assisted. And by the way, although I've written to the company, they have not responded. So that's another problem we have, customer service.
There's no doubt about it. And companies have got to take more responsibility for how their customers are treated at all levels. So yeah, I agree with you.
But that pie, if you should speak to the next government, that pie cannot be increased by talk, as one politician would say, sweet talk. Promises don't do it either.
We have got to include the private sector in the discussion and develop our country as a global logistics center. We have got to get big manufacturing here, partnering with smaller manufacturers to make our economy grow outside of Jamaica.
Yes.
Specifically for export. We have developed the Special Economic Zone Authority. We have developed a very good regime around it. Now we need to put it into action. And in fairness to this government, they have started with the Cayman Islands, and they are building out a couple million square foot of space. So it's a good start. Now we need to make sure that we follow it through to the end and get the right people in those spaces that are adding value to this economy. Because when people add value at a higher level, they can earn more money.
And the economy will grow. I have another suggestion too, that if you grow the economy and people don't feel a part of, you can have a problem. Therefore, I think we should have some incentive, even where companies are coming from overseas. And I'm thinking in the tourism sector, for example, we could have some benefits for them when they allow local people to own shares in these companies. I don't think this is happening. No, my understanding is that, especially in the tourism sector, they come in, they get certain benefits, but to what extent? Well, I know the government is now suggesting or encouraging them now to build low-income houses. But I feel like if you can get more of the people to become part owners, let them understand business, because there was a time when we see people like you as rapacious capitalists. Wicked.
Yeah, sure. And so, listen, while the idea sounds good and does have merit in some companies, there are some companies that are simply not going to allow share ownership of any kind because they're private companies. And that's understandable.
Yes.
But because that may not work in one company, doesn't mean an idea similar to that in another company won't work. So I agree with you. There needs to be more inclusion for workers in all sectors, not just the hotel sector.
I ask this question because I'm not sure. Are you aware of any incentives that have been given to companies to make that kind of a move?
I don't think, not that I know of, but I know that many companies are offering productivity incentives to their workers.
Yes, I know about that one. But I'm talking about offering the public shares. Because I am one who believes that if people need to understand that businesses are important. People tend to look at what they can get, the benefits, rather than what we can help to create. So if we are part of it, I'm hoping that we'll understand that you can't give what you don't get.
So, Mr. Derby, let me tell you, there are many. It's a process that we have to go through. When my company went public 4 years ago, we set aside a certain amount of shares for every worker who is here and gave it to them. And
You
we had
gave
a
it to
very,
them.
yeah, gave it to them for,
Oh,
depending on the years of service,
yes,
position,
yes,
etc. So we gave them shares in various amount. And there were many people that didn't want to take them, and some that still haven't taken them.
yes.
Simply just didn't want shares. They didn't want that some way, shape, or form I was trying to trick them. And they
Ah,
wouldn't
because
take the
there's lack
shares.
of trust. Right across the country, it's hard for people to realize that you're not doing any harm
Right.
to them. Yes,
So there is a lack of trust on the everyday worker for
yes,
the
yes,
government and for businesses. And
yes, yes.
it takes time to explain and to share and to train people to understand that that's just not the case. What businesses need to do is they need to have committed workers, they need to have productive workers, or they
Mhm.
can't make any money.
And if the workers feel committed to the company because they are part owners, then they will realize that by sabotaging the company, they are sabotaging their own selves.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
let's take a little quick break and we come back. I want you to tell us if you will still stay on that matter or the other matters that you want to look at and recommendations that you want to make. I know you probably have discussions with the government, but we also need to educate the people in terms of what you think. And I make
Yeah,
sure that I send copies of this program to various people so they can hear the voice. Gonna go
okay.
for the break. We're talking with the president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Mr. Metry Seaga, and Vernon Derby. This is Spot On. Gonna go for a quick break, so come back. Don't move. Welcome back. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Derby. My very special guest is the president of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Mr. Metry Seaga. Mr. Seaga, there's something else that crossed my mind, which is probably in the same vein, dealing with income tax. You're talking about paying out more, and that is the whole idea of increasing the minimum wage. I think I hear one side saying we're going to go up to 32 uh, thousand, I think, dollars.
Yes, but they
Yeah,
have recommended it in increments. So
yeah.
the next budget cycle would be 18.5, then 19.5, and then they said after that there would be discussions.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But you know, Mr. Seaga, when it comes to things like increasing the minimum wage, it
Yes,
is seen as a great thing because you're helping those at the bottom of the ladder. But
yes,
I always say, if you have to increase somebody's wages, we need to ask ourselves why. I think this is what is not being asked by the workers themselves too. If I got $10,000 last year and I have to get 15 this year, why? If we can do what is necessary so that I don't have to ask for more pay, then we'll be better off. Of course, you want equitable pay for work. So
yeah.
we would need, yes.
Unfortunately, we don't live in, the Garden of Eden, and we have we have a situation where there are going
Don't
to be
think the only
some
reason we are like the Garden of Eden because they have quite a few sinful things taking place.
the, don't get me in trouble now. The truth is that there are every society in the world has people at varying levels of successfulness,
Yeah.
and it depends on what you consider successful. Some people feel that the man that is living on the beach at Old Harbor Bay, fishing every day for a living and coming back and relaxing and sitting under the tree, lives a much better quality of life than, say, a man that is in a 9 to 5 job working till all hours of the night. It's
Yes,
a
yes.
matter of how you look at it and
Yeah,
your
right,
perspective.
right.
However, what we're looking at is the economics of things. And the economics of things says today that the wage that the minimum wage that someone gets is not a livable wage. And we need to look at that and get the minimum wage to where it needs to be. However, it needs to be accompanied by two things. One, inflation, and it needs to be pegged to inflation. And two, it needs to be pegged to productivity. We need people to be more productive. This attitude of soon come and come to work on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but not Monday and Friday because were drinking over the weekend or you mash up from the night before. That can't work.
Yes.
You know, so we have to realize that you don't get paid because people like you. You get paid because of the work that you do and how productive you are.
Yes.
And workers need to make themselves indispensable so that people can't do without them. So
Let me
people
add here
really,
too, you know, sir, because some might feel that we only look at the workers and the workers. But I must tell you, management and those who lead to are some of the biggest idlers I've found. They are
there's no
ineffective
doubt
leaders,
about that.
they are lazy. And when they call them, their secretaries are trained to say, he's in a meeting. In a meeting, what? We know
Yeah.
that. He's not in a meeting. And you
You're
find,
absolutely right, and I don't take anybody off of that list.
yes,
However, what we need to understand is that management needs to put the subject of training at the top of their list because we hire people and we think that they should know what to do.
and
What we need to
management
do,
also needs training. Yes, they do.
no doubt, starting at
Yes,
the very top.
at the top. But sometimes those at the top feel because they are at the top. They have accomplished everything they don't need to be
Yeah.
trained. I give a classic example. I was somewhere one day, you know, and I made a point, and somebody said to me, Mr. Derby, you're not here to teach us. And I said to them, I can teach you all because they feel like they're all top level professionals. Until one of them said, Mr. Chair, I would have, and I would have. So I simply said, you said what? You would have? Did you do it or you did not do it? We hear people talk about, for example, we hear announcement for elections will be September 3rd. It is not September 3rd, it is September 3. I just use this to give you an example that even, and by the way, I'm telling this is coming from people at the top. I've heard them. And they do many things sometimes. They think that because they are manager, they can close the door, they do their PhD and masters, and they do it in government. You think I don't know what's happening? They're leading, but they close the door, so they are busy. Do not disturb, but they are busy studying for their masters. Come on, and their doctorates.
Absolutely.
Yes, I know what I'm going on, so.
It sounds about the truth.
You're terrible, you know. So, you know, we have to do it from top to bottom. And the politicians need to be productive. But I hear they're talking about working. But a politician, I don't believe politicians are not workers, you know, so they must be leaders. Because if the prime minister and the leader of the opposition work hard and sweat, and they don't come up with ideas that can move this country forward, then they're a waste of time. So it's just a matter of working.
Agreed. And we need to understand that, you know, whilst our politicians set policy, we are the ones that have to do the work.
Yes. And especially the private sector. And if we tear down the private sector and mash it down, then we mash down the whole country.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Any other? We have a few more minutes. Yes, 2 more minutes. Any point you want to mention? And we're going to have you more often. Let me just tell you, so I know you have a business to run and busy, but I think you need to have a voice. Just going to your PSOJ meetings and talking is not good enough. The people need to know what you're thinking and saying.
I'm happy to be here. Happy and honored to be here. And let me just say that as my last thought, I would love to say to the public at large that, listen, on September 3, as you have reminded, we have the opportunity to exercise our right to decide who gets the pleasure and the opportunity to sit on our behalf in Garden Home. It is us that they work for. It is us that guide them as to what they can and cannot do. We must not give away that right that so many people fought so hard for, died for, to give us the right to vote. We should not give away that right by not voting. So I encourage everybody to go out and exercise your right, exercise your opinion, have your fun, talk, joke, chat, but let's keep it as it has been so far, as peaceful and as harmonious as we have seen it be up to this point.
Well, Mr. Seaga, that's one thing I have to say, you know, sir. By the way, I love your closing statement. But we're going on good safari, you know. Mr. PMP and JLP and dance, it come like carnival, you know, so. You have a few little skirmishes here and there. But I saw one where a PMP man, you know, going at the crowd, and JLP got asked for food, you know. And they started to cuss him. And then somebody said, no, man, he's welcome. Just funny. The man taking food and go about in business. You know, and I've seen too
We have
where you have
really come a far way.
yes, I see PNP, for example, hugging up the Prime Minister. I've seen PNP and JLP people dancing and having fun in the streets, you know, really. And if you really want to win, you better win over some from the other side. I want to thank you very much, Mr.
As it
Scott.
should be. As it
Yes,
should be.
thank you very much. We will continue to talk because, as I said before, you can't sit in your boardrooms and have your policies and just talk to the politicians, because when you talk to them, they will hear sometimes, but when you talk to the people, they'll know exactly what your thoughts are, and you never can tell. They say there are two types of power in the world, you know, people power and money power. But the greatest of these is people power. The problem is that when the people don't understand that when they come together, just by uniting, money power can't be that. So you continue to talk with us so we can learn, we can understand. Not everybody understands what business is all about, the
I
role of
will.
business. So we want to thank you very much. So you have a very wonderful day, sir. Thank you very much for sharing today.
Okay, thank you too. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.